Women Up Radio, designed to facilitate women's empowerment, improve your career, develop your talents, incorporate your passions, achieve fulfillment and success.
Hello, this is Anna Letitia Cook of Women Up Radio, supporting the girls on the road in their quest to support women entrepreneurs around the world. Fernanda and Taciana are visiting 24 countries, interviewing women, researching the conditions, the business ecosystems, as well as the challenges and advantages that exist in each country. So this week we're visiting India. I've never been, but I've heard so much about it. So hi, Fernanda and Taci. How are you today?
Hi, Anna. We're good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So India, this is going to be interesting because I've heard so many extremes of opinion. Some people are incredibly positive, some incredibly negative. Some say it's great for business. Some say, no, it's awful. So it'll be interesting to hear what you've got to say. So what general vision did you get of business and women in business and women entrepreneurs in India?
Hi, Anna. So I think, as you said, we can have, like, in one trip, have the both feelings. Like, it's an amazing place, and also it's a very difficult place to be a woman. Mm-hmm. We were able to interview women from different backgrounds. So, of course, when we are talking about, like, women who were highly educated and had, like, great opportunities, they are able to, to find their way into the business world. But even so, we heard things that is very shocking from what we have been hearing in the last countries. So let's say, I think, of course, it's not news to anyone that Indian society is not very welcoming to women in general.
Yeah.
We, for example, interviewed two ladies. They were highly educated, both from, U.S. top college. They went there to study, and they were able to work for international multinational consulting firms. At some point, they decided to open their own business, which they're doing with very success level. But still, they have to face a huge pressure from their families that when they're gonna stop playing and get serious and get married and then, move on with their lives. I think this is very true, that in India, still, it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. They see you as an entrepreneur like, okay, you were playing while finding Mr. Right.
Oh, really?
And this was not only one that mentioned about us, that, but it was like a common comment.
Yes. To say that India is a country of contrasts, is to say the obvious.
Yeah.
It doesn't says it all. Absolutely. So I would say it was a a huge experience for us to be in India, and we were mostly in Mumbai interviewing, which is the second largest city in India. I mean, imagine a country of 1.3 billion people. I mean, it's part of the BRICS, so it has attracted also a lot of attention.
Yeah,
it has grown, and like I would say, like 5-4. In a year, is estimated to grow even in higher percentages in the coming years. But so much inequality, and even though you have India is recognized for a booming and mature tech environment, right? You have so many tech startups with India founders, and women, they are there, but in a very limited role, unfortunately. So there's a lot going on, and we had the chance to, for example, interview an initiative by an Indian entrepreneur that her main goal was really try to get some economic empowerment to other women. Yeah. So there are a bunch of initiatives in this regard. So women trying to elevate other women's conditions. But it's a very hostile environment, I would say, from what we gather from the experiences that we had and the interviews that we conducted. It seems still a very hostile environment for women in general, and really hard for women entrepreneurs. Really, really hard.
Okay, so when a woman is an entrepreneur in India, what does it mean for them? What what do you see them doing or how they react?
I think it means that she decided to defy her culture in order to put her ideas forward and prove people that, you are more than just a wife, a potential wife and mother of kids.
Mm-hmm.
They have to prove a lot in order to be heard. It's a society that is very, very machista oriented, like male centered.
Yes.
And even though mothers will rule at home, they sometimes just make a nightmare of your life when you're married to her son.
Yes.
I think every single woman that we talk to, they say that they have to fight really hard to pursue their dreams. We interview women who were married and then her husband died and she had to take over the business that they had found together.
Yeah.
And face like difficult at the beginning because of people would not trust her of being capable of putting, forward the business. We interviewed two girls of like 25 years old that are out of the universe, has this amazing idea. They put like a system to help deaf people be able, to understand whatever is around there in the world. Yeah. And their parents still think that, and they were very forward to it. Like they say, if I was a guy, I would never be able to be an entrepreneur because I would have this pressure to do something what my parents consider meaningful, like be, engineering or work in finance. So I'm saying like men, of course, face a huge pressure in terms of they have to provide everything as well. Yes. And women for her was like, let them play and be an entrepreneur while they're still waiting for get married. And then once they get married, they will stop this nonsense.
Oh, really?
Yes. And we are talking about educated families.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's interesting. Very interesting. But
it's also, it seems to be harder when, a country this size, when you have so many, the religion seems to play a major role, and all religions that they practice in India, of course. It's to have a major role in the day-to-day life, and also it ends up affecting to some extent how you do business, how you see other people doing business.
Yeah.
So there are so many still taboos in India, and of course we had a limited view. As I mentioned, we were in Mumbai, the second largest city in India.
Yeah.
But still, we were able to learn things that at the same time, you have entrepreneurs. I'll give you an example because I think it's telling about what happens in India, so you can better understand. We interviewed an entrepreneur, a young woman, India has a huge taboo regarding women's periods. Okay.
Yes.
Very hard to talk about the topic. They have this idea, that's based on tradition or religion. I don't know exactly where it comes from, but when in that time of month, women face even harder challenges, and it brings a huge health issue for women. Yeast infections, many of them die because they don't use a pad, they don't know how to use it, how to clean it, to change it, everything, hygiene, basic hygiene, because they don't have the information, they don't talk about it. So this, and of course, not only in Dubai, but also in other countries, in villages and towns. And so she developed this hardware. It's a machine that can produce pads at a low cost.
Yeah.
So you have, available, reachable technology to really try to solve, a pressing problem for them.
Yes.
So she developed that. She's, she's 20-something years old. She's already in small villages. And of course, she still faces a lot of hardships to sell this idea to everybody.
Yeah, because of the taboo of talking about it.
Exactly. So, this, again, we are talking about a country of 1.43 billion people, maybe half of it made of women. And this is a huge issue. So you have this technology that was developed by a woman. And she herself, that's the funny thing, she herself was one of the ones that said, oh no, I can do that while I'm, my parents, my family, they do not complain as much that I have become an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because, they say that I'm doing that until I get married.
Huh.
So I think the whole story, what she's doing, why she's doing, and how she sees herself.
Yeah.
And how the family what she's doing. I think it's pretty telling about still how India faces women and women entrepreneurship as a whole.
Yes. Yeah. No, it sounds very complicated.
Yes, it is.
When you've got so many taboos and cultural traditions that are not just to do with women doing something, but what they actually choose to do.
But on the other hand, I think you see also women, realizing that and realizing they have to change the situation. I mentioned the entrepreneur that created a company. It's a delivery company with women.
Yeah.
They use scooters to go around Mumbai.
Yeah.
So it's a way, and you have women from all ages, driving these scooters. They educate them. Many of them do not have a driver's license, so they invest in them so they can have some sort of economic empowerment.
Yes.
So more and more you see initiatives that really try to lift up women.
Yeah. So you really have both sides of the story there.
Oh, absolutely. And it's, there are so many amazing places in India. And, as I said, we live in Mumbai, but we visit the Taj Mahal, which is breathtaking, and Jaipur. So there's so much richness in the country.
Yes. Yeah.
And the people, they are happy. They are willing to help.
They're super friendly.
Very friendly. So I'm sure they're going to try to change the situation.
Yeah.
But maybe it's going to take longer than otherwise we expected.
Okay. And what about their business ecosystem?
What we heard about is of course, the government also is trying to put an effort into entrepreneurship. Of course, they have a lot of people to give work to and to feed and everything. So they cannot only rely on private sector or these big companies or public sector. They need more entrepreneurship in the country to generate more jobs.
Yeah.
And there are also initiatives, not only Indian initiatives, but other countries putting up a startup hub or international players coming to the country in order to develop. And of course, looking at the talent that the country has to be able to not only take advantage of this pool of well-formed people.
Yeah.
But they also face, as we said in Brazil, a very messy infrastructure system, tax, corruption. So but when you talk about India, it's in a very higher proportion because we are talking about a country with a large population.
Yes.
It's a big country itself, so it's and has a lot of religion intertwined into the business that it's very conflictual, the Hindi, the Muslim, and it adds to the melting pot. Yes. To try to figure out how to move forward and how to make a more equal country for men and women.
Yeah. Okay. And apart from what you've already mentioned, are there any other particular challenges or advantages for the women there?
I think advantage is they are able to, not everyone, but, many of them are able to access to very good higher education, and they are seen as the international community, a country that provides a lot of skilled people.
Yes.
So they don't have to prove that they are able to do things, right? Yes. The country itself is a big exporter of great minds.
Yes.
Of course, the biggest challenge for women, as it is, not only entrepreneurs, to prove that they are at the same level of men, they have a voice, they are able to contribute as much as any other people, that they are not just meant to grow up and get married and raise families. They are much capable of doing a lot of things outside of this.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. And what about soft and hard skills for them?
I think one thing that it could export is their resilience, because they have to face so much and to prove so many things all the time, like, as they're growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I think they build this unstoppable mindset of, I know everything that I face, I know everything that I have to go in order to grow, to put up a business, to be able to think for myself.
Yeah,
that they are like fighters, I think.
Excellent. Okay. And any motivational difference, any key motivational difference in India that you think would be helpful for women entrepreneurs in other countries around the world?
Yes, I think the more empowered you are, the more in control of your financial, capabilities, the more you will be able to stand up and have a voice and be able to change future generations.
Yeah, yeah. And you think that the Indian women are really showing that well?
I think they started to show it and to realize that, changing the participation and how the society sees women, the roles that women can play. I think they are slowly realizing that's one of the only ways to move forward.
Yes.
They change their mindset. I think that's a huge motivator.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.